Dubai Death Run, last race. A survival duel in the desert. The desert doesn't forgive. It doesn't care who you are or what you've done. It swallows men whole, buries them beneath golden dunes, and never looks back. Leo knew this. But when the message came, he didn't hesitate. Dubai Death Run, 500 km. No rules, no rescue, survive or die. He had been waiting for this moment. Across the desert, Viktor received the same challenge. He smiled, a cold, knowing smirk. 2 men, 2 machines, 1 final race. Leo slid into the cockpit of his Bugatti Chiron Supersport 300 Plus, a black beast built for sheer velocity. It wasn't just a car, it was a missile on wheels. Viktor settled into his McLaren Speedtail, a silver bullet engineered for elegance and destruction. He wasn't just here to win, he was here to end Leo once and for all. The sun hung low, stretching long shadows across the sand. A single flare ignited in the sky. Engines screamed. The race had begun. The Bugatti and McLaren launched forward, tearing across the dunes in a violent storm of sand and raw power. Then, the first trap. A rock slide erupted from the cliffs ahead, triggered by a hidden detonation. Massive boulders rained down, crushing everything in their path. Viktor barely hesitated. He twisted the wheel, dodging between the tumbling rocks with surgical precision. His McLaren glided through the chaos like a phantom. Leo was seconds behind, staring down a boulder the size of a tank. No time, no escape. He downshifted, yanked the wheel hard left, and drifted around the falling rock, the mass of stone missing his rear bumper by inches. They weren't racing the clock, they were racing death. The desert darkened. A sandstorm loomed ahead, a swirling vortex of orange and gold. But it wasn't just the wind they had to worry about. Dune buggies emerged from the storm, headlights flashing, mercenaries armed with assault rifles. The desert had its own rules, and tonight it demanded blood. Gunfire tore through the storm. Bullets ripped past Leo's Bugatti, one shattering the windshield in a web of cracks. Viktor, untouched as always, weaved through the chaos, his silver McLaren slipping past the attackers like a ghost. Leo wasn't that lucky. One of the dune buggies swerved toward him, trying to force him off course. Leo gritted his teeth, slammed the rear of his Bugatti into the buggy's side, and sent it flipping into the air, a fiery explosion swallowing it whole. But the storm was closing in, and the race was far from over. The sandstorm cleared, revealing a narrow, winding canyon ahead. But something was wrong. The canyon walls were lined with motion sensor mines. Viktor was already inside, threading his McLaren through the tight passage, avoiding every deadly trap with cold, mechanical precision. Leo had no choice but to follow. He gripped the wheel, heart pounding. The first mine detonated, sending shards of rock raining down. No time to brake. He dodged left, the explosion blasting just behind his rear tires. Another mine went off, a chain reaction of destruction. Suddenly, Viktor slammed the brakes. Leo reacted on instinct, jerking the wheel just in time to avoid a hidden spike trap. It was a test, a mind game. Viktor was playing dirty, but so was Leo. The canyon spat them out onto the final stretch, 50 kilometers of open desert. Nothing but speed, nothing but raw survival. Leo's Bugatti and Viktor's McLaren ran side by side, their engines howling at their absolute limits. 450 km/h, 460 km/h. Viktor smirked. He swerved. Leo barely reacted in time. The 2 hypercars collided at impossible speeds, metal shrieking, sparks flying. This wasn't racing anymore. This was war, Leo countered. He rammed Viktor back, forcing the McLaren onto unstable sand. But then, the final trap revealed itself. A gaping ravine. Too wide to brake, too deep to survive. Only one way forward. Viktor saw it. He didn't stop, he floored it, and launched into the air. Leo had 2 seconds to choose. He followed. The world slowed. Leo's Bugatti hung in the sky, caught in the dying sunlight, framed against the endless desert. Below, only darkness. Viktor's McLaren was ahead, sailing toward what looked like an impossible landing. But then, A fatal miscalculation. The McLaren clipped the edge of the ravine. The impact flipped it violently. The car tumbled, metal shredding, a final explosion swallowing Viktor whole. Leo's Bugatti landed hard, tires screeching, suspension groaning, but still alive. He had won. But at what cost? The desert doesn't forget. The desert was silent again. The storm had passed. Leo sat inside his wrecked Bugatti, staring at the endless dunes. His phone buzzed. A new message. Congratulations, next year, you race again.